In this segment, we will talk about reverse signaling. That is, sending a signal from Leaflet to Vega-Lite. So I've rearranged the previous two plots using hconcat. And if you select anything here, it updates on the second map and vice versa. I have also made a copy of our previous map, except I have updated the heat layer by adding a few parameters like gradient radius and etc., which makes the heat map looks like this. The map also has a pop-up. If you click on an area, it will give you the name of that area. So what we need to do is to write a function to add a event listener to each of the layers in the map. So a function area click that takes a feature and a layer when a layer is clicked. So on click, I want to call a callback function. We now need to define this callback function. So when clicked, we want to grab that event same as before. We want to create a mutable object on which we will save the target, event's target, grab its feature, its properties, and finally its name. Same as before, we need to make this mutable object null. So basically, I want to use the name of this neighborhood as a filter for the plots. So we are almost going through the same pattern. We defined our event handler, our signal listener, and setting that signal listener to null. Similarly, just like before, we will define a map selection where if the neighborhood is null, we will create a new set of all the values in Vancouver Crime 2 dataset, and we'll convert that set into an array. Otherwise, if it's not empty, we will just return the value received in the form of an array. Now that we have our selection and filter value, we need to do two things. So the first thing is we don't have any event. We need to raise an event on click. Leaflet has a function map.on that gives rise to an event. For example, a mouse click or a mouse over and things like that. When it raises an event, we need to mention how do we want to deal with that event. So this area click is listening to the click event, but first we need to raise a click event here. So when the click is happening, we just want to set our mutable input to null. We are setting this to null just to begin the listening process. The last thing to do is to go back to our plots and add that map selection as a filter to the transform. And I forgot to add this here, which is our area click function. Now let's hide a few plots. Clicking something here will change the plots in Vega-Lite. Last thing that I want to quickly show you guys is how to put all the plots side by side. I encourage you to look into this tutorial to learn in more details. So I've also added a full screen button where all the plots are together. You click anywhere and that gets updated, and all other functionalities work as well.